In Midland, Texas, at 3002 Fair Circle, home at 10,000 felonies. The date is looks like April 25th, 2018. Do a short video. What I want to talk about is specifically what I think was going on when I first moved here, because I lived here a couple years before I figured out anybody was breaking into the house, and I think it was going on all along. I think it was going on way before I even moved here, that they were involved in the death or murder of the last homeowner, etc. And directly behind my home is a secluded truck unloading lane that you can't see from the street. It's literally the best place to smuggle drugs, weapons, terrorists, humans, etc. from Mexico to Dallas. And we're right here in Midland, next to Interstate 20, and just a couple hours from the southern border in Mexico. And so, and it's believed that what's going on here, the crimes here, the murder attempt in my life, suspected murder, the last homeowner, the murder I was told about, the young girl at the oil show party, etc. It's all having coming back to do with human trafficking, sex trafficking, child sex trafficking. So anyway, I want to show you some things on this house, specifically things that you can look at, that you can go to Google Earth and you look at the map pictures and give you an idea of why I was, I believe that that this human trafficking, sex trafficking was going on. It looks like there was a cover-up. I'll talk about that in 2014, 2015, and primarily because of the attention that the videos and the Facebook posts and YouTube videos I placed out there have brought a lot of attention, and so the criminals behind these crimes had to change the way they're doing business. Sadly, law enforcement's been non-existent. Even probably worse than that, with the secret police, they're involved in the crimes, and at least the secret police. And that don't mean all police officers are bad like they are. And I believe there are some good ones. We're still looking for them so we can get the bad ones arrested, and we can all live in peace in our homes. So I'm going to show you some things on the computer, and then we're going to go outside and I'm going to show you some stuff. I'm going to try to make this relatively quick. Okay, this is an overview map I've had for a long time. This is the Home Depot store in Midland, Texas. This is my home. Okay, here's an alley, and then there's a wall that separates the commercial from the residential, and this line of pine trees right here. So you see the big parking lot, the Home Depot. Down the alley here, Target's on this side. At the end of the alley is the Fairmont Park Church of Christ. Okay, this is my cul-de-sac. There's about 9 homes in it, and this is another cul-de-sac over here. It's called Fairgreen Court, and the one down here almost cut off is actually Westmont Court. But it gives you an idea how close I am to this secluded trucking lane. And here is Midland Drive, and so as you can see, you can't see back there behind that Home Depot store. It's totally private, secluded, and as I said, 50,000 foot view, perfect place to smuggle humans, drugs, etc., or even terrorists. Okay, and so you'd have to drive down Midland, go behind Target, and then turn again, and then come back behind Home Depot, and then you're behind my home. And so that gives you, and I was shot on this side of my home, right there on the inside of my home, but on this side of my home, the west side. And so that gives you an idea of the overview. One thing here in Midland, and a lot of people know this is the hometown of George and Laura Bush, and also their dad, and he was actually a landman in Midland, Texas. Okay, and so you would think that George Bush would want to get the secret police identified, since I mean that's a bad mark on his hometown name, because this is the only 2 places we have secret police: Nazi Germany and Midland, Texas, and Midland, Texas is the hometown of George Bush. Okay. I found an old map on the city. This is an important map. This is my house right here. Okay, this is one of the oldest maps I got. This is the alley. Here's the tree line. On the other side of that's Home Depot. This is the east neighbor's home right here. Okay, and what I'm pointing out here is right here, this line, and it's a different color. It looks like a ditch was cut right there. And there's a dark spot right there. I don't know what that is, but something right there in that backyard. Okay, and that's way before I moved in here. Okay, if I extend this ditch out, okay, it looks like it connects to these cinder blocks on the corner of my house. There's some buried cinder blocks. It's really weird. We're going to go outside and look at them in a minute. If I extend it straight this way, it looks like it connects to the west manhole. And there's two side-by-side manholes on the other side of that wall next to that trucking lane, which is odd because if you have one manhole, why would you have another one right next to it, right? And I think one of them was connected going up that connected to under my house. And then also do a straight line over here because this is where this looked like a storm cellar door was in the backyard here of this home right here. And so I showed that in a straight line there. And so that picture come from the city of Midland. That's one of my oldest pictures. These are Google Earth pictures, okay? And these are dated, okay? And that way I can look and I can go, well, on March 31st, 2008, before I moved here, the trees are all there, okay? We know that. And the thing that's in the backyard, the storm cellar door, or whatever it was, suspected tunnel entrance, it's not there. There's nothing there. So we know by this date, it's not there. Okay, and here, Mike Lawhon lived here, but he died on October 12th of 2008. So he died after this picture was taken. Okay, here the next Google Earth picture was in December 5th, 2009. By that time, I had moved here. This homeowner had died. Mike Lawhon had died, and that's controversial of where he died and all the evidence on that. And you see there's right here, you can see that thing in the backyard. Okay, looks like, and it wasn't a hot tub or nothing. It was something that just carved in the ground. It looked more like a storm cellar door, you know. And or you know, as some people have said that they thought it was maybe a tunnel entrance, but it's not there no more. Okay, here's my little shed. That's where the dog heard some digging right there. I've got a video on that. I'm shot on the other side of my home. Okay, and so here's another dated picture. This one is October 2nd, 2014. And basically it's showing that the thing in the backyard is still there. Okay, you can still see it. I am living here. By this time I was shot January 28, 2012. So by this time I'd already been shot. And I found the pictures of the secret police. I'm posting them on the internet and I'm talking about what the crime's going on here. And then that's when it gets taken out. So it's no longer there by April 28, 2015. So the thing in the backyard is gone. At the same time, this live tree is removed right here. The one that's set right here. And this live tree set next to the telephone pole where the Suddenlink coax cable goes into the ground and nobody knows where it goes. And that's another video and story. And also the two side-by-side manholes, one of them had the lid off for a long time. It was right next to that tree. That was a suspected tunnel entrance. And the suspicion was, because you see even truckers are parked here. The door's over here and on the other side of the building, but the truckers are parked right there next to the manholes, okay? And so the suspicion is, it was like a truck stop and lot lizards. They were coming up here, and then somebody that was hiding out in my attic or in my home if I was gone, you know, if I'm not here, they were in my home. They would go down the tunnel, and they'd come over, and then they come up the west manhole and they do their business and they come back and they come back up. Anyway, that's the suspicion. Here's the date. You can go look at that yourself on Google Earth. Okay. We'll get a couple more different views of it. The thing in the backyard, that's a little bit better. The tree is there. And I'm shot here. It shows you there. This is dated picture October 2nd, 2014. Okay, here it's missing, and you can see it had been recently taken out, okay, because the grass hadn't even grown over it yet, and the tree is gone. Okay, they took out that live tree, and what I suspect is because of all the publicity, then they did a cover-up, you know, because they were doing the human trafficking, the sex trafficking in my house, and I'm taking pictures of the truckers showing up 24/7, not unloading freight. Got two people at the store telling me prostitution's going on behind the store, and I see a little girl at the sleeper cab of an 18-wheeler, and I found a child's toy in my attic. So put it all together, child sex trafficking, fastest growing crime in America. That's what I was suspecting going right here in the middle of Midland, but nobody can see it. Okay? And so we're going to look at another picture, and this is a little close-up. These are more the same dated pictures from Google Earth, and sometimes a little different view in here, tree taken out, etc. But this one, I enlarged it, I blew it up. This is that shed right there. That's the neighbor's shed, and right next to it, that's how it tells you how big that thing is on the ground. That ground covering deal. It's still a thing, you know, and so I'm not saying that was a tunnel entrance that's used to murder the last homeowner and using a capital T to murder in my life, because I don't know that. I'm just saying there was a thing there, and we're looking for, we know somewhere there's a tunnel entrance. We got multiple people saying there's an underground facility here, and one person said it's within a half block away. Okay, so that was the thing. Okay, now let's look at some at the manholes. Okay, well here, this picture I took one day. 2 truckers parked next to where the manholes are on the other side. At this point, that tree is gone. There's a telephone pole that has the Suddenlink coax cable that goes in the ground. And the Suddenlink and the coax TV for the houses go above ground. And Home Depot's adamant they don't have Suddenlink over there. So it just goes down into the ground right there, and nobody knows where it goes. Okay. And in September 22nd, 2014, Suddenlink was here, and they got a disconnect notice. Right, but nobody can tell us where that goes, and it's right next to the manholes. And notice where the truckers, they park right there next to it, even though the loading doors are way on this side and way on that side. Okay, and that was the point I was taking. That's the reason I took that picture. And so here's another picture of this was taken in 2012. And it shows the west manhole, and this lid was left off for a couple years. And I showed the private investigator this in 2012 after I was shot, and I sent this picture to Chief of Police Price Robinson. But I sent him numerous emails. He never replied. You know, never got a reply. And then he finally retired last year. Okay. So, and then I'm going to show you this here in a minute too. This right here is my HVAC filter. That's for my HVAC units in the attic. And this is the filter, so you got to put a ladder and you change that filter ever so often. You know, it gets dirty. And I change it every 2 or 3 months, and I find this Lego toy laying on top of the filter. Okay, the only place it come from is from the attic side. That's where I suspected maybe there was children involved here, and maybe they're up there, and they're involved with the truckers that pull up out back. They go down and they go through tunnel pipe and come up that manhole. Okay, and I've got one other picture here that I want to find. I'm going to take you out there and we're going to look at it anyway. So that's probably why I didn't get a picture of it. And but there's a leftover piece size of man-sized tunnel pipe, and it's sitting about 15 foot from my property here, okay? And this is on the other neighbor's yard, okay? So I suspect this type of pipe is what was going from them center blocks of my house over to that west manhole. Of course, like I said, it looks like cover-up happened back then. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to take this camera, and we're going to go outside and we're going to look at some of this stuff that I just showed you, okay? And before we do that, what I want to, I'm in my hallway. I want to show you. There's the HVAC filter, and like I said, when you take that down, there's a filter up there. That's where I found the Lego toy that had to be dropped from the attic. And I've only had hundreds of burglar alarms go off my attic. I seen a young Hispanic guy in my attic one time, and I was shot with burglar alarms going off, etc. One thing that's important, these crimes hadn't stopped, even though that was, cover-ups gone on, and but that's believed because they're protecting the underground facility, and that's said to be $1 million underground facility near my home. And so here's what we're going to do here. No, Bella. Ooh, no. 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 Okay, so let me show you here. I'll take a picture of me. We're going to flip that around. Okay, there's the man-sized tunnel pipe. Okay, that's just a short leftover piece. I asked that neighbor about it. She said she didn't know where it came from. It was there before I moved here, and her late husband knew something about it. You know, that was the home right there that in 2014 that she saw a guy in her house. She had a home invasion burglary at that home right there, and it was she told me the police did fingerprints and found out it was somebody that lived at 3811 Fair Circle, which was at the time the Martin house, and they later moved. And so man's I told them what we're doing is go in the backyard, and I want to show you so you can see them line of trees. Okay, and if you get there, what you're going to see is there a missing tree right there where the other side of the telephone pole was. That's where that live tree was taken out. And you see that cable on that telephone pole. That's actually the Suddenlink cable that they showed up. The Suddenlink people did with the disconnect notice. So somebody knows who paid for that TV internet cable that goes in the ground. And Home Depot said it wasn't theirs, and the houses are fed from above. So. And on the other side of that fence is the two holes. The west one, the one on this side, is the one that had the cover off for so long. And if you remember from the picture, it looked like a ditch was cut in this backyard somewhere around here, going directly at that west manhole right there. You turn it around, it comes right here to the southeast corner of the house. And so I put a little ladder so I could climb up there, but I wanted to get up here and show you so we can see the cinder blocks buried there. That's real weird, ain't it? And then when you extend it out here, you can see it goes to where the thing was in the backyard. Them boards have always been up there, so I never could see that thing from the ground. And so, anyways, hope you find this interesting. And maybe someday we can get these crimes stopped and get them secret police identified, and we can all live safe in our homes. But anyway, Midland, Texas.